Hi there, and it's Saturday the 17th of May, and 2 days ago LEGO released the amazing buildable Space Baby. So I'm here at Westquay Shopping Centre. I'm hoping they've still got some in. I'm going to make a purchase and hopefully get the gift with purchase. I arrived at the store a few minutes past opening time, and when I got there was a queuing system laid out in front of the store. And that's because there was a make and take event going on, where you could queue up, build a small Ninjago set for free, which was a mini Thunderfang set, to go with the current Ninjago Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos set. And although it didn't start for another hour, people were already queuing up. And inside there were yellow cubes laid out with trays on top, ready for people to get their parts and start building. And Daisy, one of the store team, was busily making one as an example. I went to check out what was new, and the things that stood out were firstly, just under the Concorde set was the new shuttle carrier aircraft set, which looked a lot better than it did in its leaked pictures. So I might consider getting this set at some point in the future, and I may have been a little bit too harsh about its looks in my video about it a few weeks ago. The other set which caught my eye, which I hadn't even looked at before, was the dancing figures set, which although isn't something that I'd get myself, it did look really good in one of the display cubes. But the two sets that I bought to get my Space Baby were firstly in the Star Wars section. I got the brand new U-Wing set, because unlike all the other recent Star Wars content, I really like the new Andor series. And in this set I especially wanted the minifigures, which included Cassian himself, Deirdre, a generic ISB agent, and K2SO. And then from the Harry Potter section I also got the not so new Hogwarts Castle Flying Lessons set. Now I don't buy all the Harry Potter sets by any means, but I do tend to buy the ones with castle parts that can fit together. And because I love minifigures, this set also has a great selection of them, including Madam Hooch, Professor McGonagall, Oliver Wood, Harry, Draco and Neville. And with those two sets it just left me £5 short of my spend I needed for the Space Baby. So I went to check out the Pick-a-Brick wall and found that they had some dark grey 1x2 masonry bricks, which I hadn't seen on there before. So I picked out a whole load of them, I stacked them in columns of 9, I attached them to plates, and filled up a whole small Pick-a-Brick box with them, which then took me over the spending threshold for my Space Baby. I asked a helpful staff member, Jack, sorry I don't have a bit of video of you, Jack, who happens to watch my channel and had seen my Upscale Space Buggy videos. I asked him if I could make multiple purchases to get multiple babies, but he informed me it was one per household. So I checked out, where I was expertly served by Ben, who had also helped me stack my 1x2 bricks from my Pick-a-Brick box, and I also fortunately had 2 gift cards to spend, which meant my Space Baby didn't cost me much actual real money. And by the time I left just after 10, the make and take event was in full swing and the queue system outside was completely full. And Steph, who stocks the Pick-a-Brick wall in Southampton, says that some brand new parts should be coming to the store soon, which haven't been available to her before. So look out for those in the future, probably in my 1st of June haul video. So back home, and just before I start building the upscaled Space Baby, of course a quick shout out to my channel members. And sitting on top of their bricks today, we've got a regular spaceman and of course a Space Baby. And by the end of this video, obviously we'll be able to reproduce this in upscaled version, but obviously swapping the pink baby for a red one. And like I said, the two sets which I bought to be able to get the upscaled Space Baby was firstly the Hogwarts Castle Flying Lessons, and I am a sucker for Harry Potter sets which have a good selection of minifigures in them, and also ones that can combine with other sets. And I'm really looking forward to the Tower set coming out later on this year to combine with the Great Hall. And then the other set was the Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. Now I have the previous U-Wing fighter which came out for the Rogue One film, but I really did want the excellent selection of minifigures in this set, especially Cassian and Deirdre. Then of course I got that Pick-a-Brick box. So as well as a few plates and some tiles, I got a total of 38 columns of these 9 bricks, plus a few extra ones packed into the box, and it came to a total of 347 masonry bricks. Now on Pick-a-Brick at lego.com, these little bricks go for 12p each, so for a box that cost me £11.99, I actually got £41.64 worth of bricks inside it. And of course that's not including the extra tiles and plates I managed to stack in around them. So as I've said before, if you need some brand new bricks and they're available on a Pick-a-Brick wall, it's well worth buying them from there rather than from lego.com. But of course to the main event, the upscaled Space Baby. Now I'm going to be very interested to know if the parts they've used make this available to be built in other colours. But that's for a future video. Let's get on and build this one. So inside we've got 4 numbered bags, and interesting to see that these are clear plastic bags rather than the new paper ones. Bag 1 builds us the feet and the structure of the torso. Bag 2 completes the torso and also adds on the arms. Bag 3 adds his head and helmet, of course with that adorable little smile. And then bag 4 adds on his air tanks at the back. So I'm going to build this under time lapse, but I'll stop after each bag and show you what the build looks like. So that's the end of bag 1. It only took a few minutes. There's some simple but effective sideways building techniques here to get that slot there showing the gap between the 2 legs. You can actually remove this whole block off the top, and so we've effectively got his feet there, and this is going to be lots and lots of sideways building techniques for his torso. We'll pop that back on and let's get on with bag 2, which is a much smaller bag, and it's got that all-important printed tile. So that's the end of bag 2, and we've got a fully complete torso. I do like the way they have done the arms, and space babies can't actually hold things in their hands. They don't have open hands like minifigures do, so they've made them out of these 1x2 curved bricks here. Again, we can take the complete torso off and break it down into its separate parts. Also, the arms are fairly easy to come off as well. I did wonder why certain places in here we could have had a tile behind there with a plate holding this on, and that 1x1 plate there could also have been a tile, and maybe stuck a tile on here. We could have got rid of a few more studs to make it a little bit more smooth looking, but maybe that's something I'll do to modify this later on. But I'll pop his torso back on his body, onto bag 3, and let's get his head on. So that's the end of bag 3, and I was slightly wrong. We don't get a completed head and helmet from bag 3. We've got a little bit more to do in bag 4, but you can see that that's going to sit nicely on top of there. So let's move straight on to bag 4. I just thought I'd pause there because the building techniques we're using here, we're using these large curved slope bricks here, which we use at the top of the Everyone is Awesome set and the Every Spaceman is Awesome set. But the building technique here is very similar to the one I used recently on my upscaled construction hat. So we've got the curved bricks, I'm going to fill in the middle with the curved, the quarter dome pieces, which I also used, only these are slightly smaller. So you can see these are 3x3 instead of the 4x4s that I used on the other set. So just thought, interesting point to note. I'm going to finish that off and let's carry on with bag 4. So halfway through bag 4 and we've got a completed head and helmet, and those printed tiles here for the eyes and the mouth are absolutely brilliant. To remake this in other colours, we're obviously going to be able to get hold of these, so hopefully these will be available on Pick-a-Brick. I do have actually another one of these sets coming. I made an online order to get a second one, so that means I'll have a second set of these to maybe use in another colour, or maybe I'll try and print these on my vinyl cutting machine and make replicas just on plain yellow bricks. There have been a lot of colourful bricks inside with the structure of the torso and the head, and they've all been covered up except for the ones at the bottom of his helmet. And you can see there's a white plate there, a white plate on this side, and a teal and green plate on this side. And maybe would have been nice if they had been red as well. I know you don't see them from above, but they are there, and I just find those a little bit annoying. Maybe it's something I'll modify later on and get those pieces in red to just finish it off nicely. But let's finish off bag 4 and get those air tanks on him. We have our finished space baby. I really like the techniques used for these air tanks. Instead of trying to make cylinders and attach them on the back, we've made the entire thing with studs not on the top, using these 1x2 curved bricks, these ones here, and the fairly new 1x1 quarter dome pieces. The slope is slightly out here where we're using cheese wedges in the middle, but it does give it a good shape. They're not quite circular, but like I said with upscaling on my videos, upscaling is all about slight compromises, and they give the impression of the air tanks, and then when you put them on the back, I think they look really good on the back there. So here's our completed baby. So let's get in with his upscale daddy and get them together. So if we look at the original two together, we can see that our Space Baby is just above wrist height on our classic Spaceman. And on our upscaled version, he's pretty much the same height, just above wrist height on our upscaled classic Spaceman. If we do a side-by-side comparison, I think they got the proportions of the upscaled version pretty good. Like I said, the air tanks don't look quite right, but they do give a very good impression of what they're meant to look like. But the best comparison view is definitely the one from the front. So I'm so pleased that LEGO decided to do this. It's a wonderful coincidence that it coincided with my own upscaled space builds. As with the face from the upscaled minifigures, which I bought 6 of off Lego.com's Pick-a-Brick, I really hope that these two pieces also end up on Lego Pick-a-Brick too. There's a possibility that they won't, as obviously this came from an actual set and these two are only in a gift with purchase, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hopefully they'll appear sooner or later. Currently, if people want to try and reproduce this set in other colours, this 2x4 tile is also another problem. It only comes in this red colour. It also was available in blue in the Galaxy Explorer set, but apart from that we haven't had a space logo on a 2x4 tile. But there were several sticker versions of this logo in Benny's spaceship set, which you could maybe make custom stickers for if you were building space babies in other colours. My only gripe, and they're minor ones, are these colourful plates showing around the bottom of his helmet. However, like I said, if you stand him up you don't see those. It's only if you pick him up and look around him. Also, the number of studs showing on this side. It was a lovely smooth looking finish, and we could add a tile here, a tile there, and some here. Obviously we won't be able to remove them on this wedge plate here. That doesn't come in a smooth version finish. But yes, minor gripes, a few studs on here, but after all it is Lego. So I thought we should finish with an absolute upscale space bonanza. We've got my upscaled space buggy, we've got my upscaled classic spaceman, and just like every dad has at some point in his life, he's letting his son sit on his lap and steer the car as they drive along. But obviously only on private property, as that's not road legal. And I think our little space baby is going to be an absolutely great addition to my display when I take it around to brick festivals. If you're making any LEGO purchases online and you'd like to help support my channel, please click on my LEGO affiliate link below, and that'll mean that anything you buy on Lego.com, LEGO will give me a very small commission, but it doesn't cost you anything more. You could also consider becoming a channel member, and if you click on the join button below, that'll give you all the details you need. But most of all, let me know what you think of this in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up, but of course, please make sure you subscribe for more LEGO videos.